Yo dudes, this is Ketchu, and this is part 7 of Can I Beat Rimworld for the first time. Learn from past failures. I had everyone throw on whatever armor we had. That wasted just enough time for the open back door to almost cost us the colony. I can never win when it comes to making decisions, can I?
Please. Close. Yes! Eat that, idiots!
We are a society with electricity, refrigeration, and indoor plumbing, but solar flares still make us superstitious. Bad omens, I say. The raiders mostly ignored our kill bugs for no adequately explored reasons.
Where the frick is this guy going?
I tried to be clever by parking Llama away from the fight. That just isolated her, and some pistol moron ran across the map to beat her with it. Another Batman seemed to have the same plan, but Carlos intercepted and put some blood holes into that script.
You raiders make me sick. Or it might be the food poisoning.
My competence reared its special head when I found Sin not part of the fight.
Okay, Dark's down. That's great. Carlos is having a good time. Llama is still fine.
Meanwhile, Kazuko had a plan of her own.
No!
Yup, she had an incendiary launcher. It pained me to leave the books to burn, but I wasn't ready to hold more funerals over some brochures, so Sin went to help with the fight while Kazuko was roasting our library. No idea what this little poopstain's plan was, but he got an express ticket to the other side. Carlos untangled Llama's situation, and that's when the enemies decided they'd had enough. We let the enemies go and patched ourselves up. Sin had no sway on the outcome of the fight. I accept half the accountability. For her crimes against our furniture, we made an exception for Kazuko.
We got an incendiary launcher, by the way. That's gonna be great.
Doug did not care that his ex got dropped like a dog turd on a sidewalk. Yeah, that checks out.
It's so hard to take care of anything. Oh, there's more fire. That's great. Oh, the book is still alive.
At least we saved one book. Turns out we still had a boomalope left. Nico solved that oversight. She got catharsis. I got a fire. I let Nico drag herself to the infirmary as punishment. Starvation got into a situationship with us. The receipt said 70 days until we'd be back. Well tipped thanks to the base turning into a bonfire. Solar flare finally ended and power came back on. Some time ago, I switched to a biphasic sleep schedule. I learned this trick from Carlos's dream. Speaking of, Carlos went into a daze. Llama ate raw food, but did not complain. I was confused and proud. Colony mood wasn't all red anymore. Small victories. We lost components to botched construction. Really hammered in the fact that we didn't have our builders anymore.
Those are rare, Misk. We need to be careful.
Meals weren't happening either, so I lowered the cooking requirements. That's right, we didn't have proper cooks anymore either. Again, December 14th, Carlos and Honketon had a relationship drama. The rejected proposal hit harder than being widowed, but they made up soon after that. Then Dark went berserk and attacked Carlos. His attempts at violence came back at him like a retrograde ejaculation.
I have many regrets right now. Oh, we lost such a good crafter and a cook. Wow. Yeah, that cuts deep.
Since Carlos failed to hold back, I made her clean up the mess as punishment. The colony's collective bad vibes reminded Misko of her husband, at least that's my headcanon, and she decided to cosplay as furniture for several days. Honketon started stress eating. Sin took care of Dark's funeral. He's been the only one keeping the lights on around here, figuratively, since most of the actual lights don't work.
Nah. Rest well, Dark. It was an honor to serve with you.
The tantrum avalanche time continued. It was Llama's turn. She destroyed the granite chess table. Excellent quality, by the way, and that stung a bit.
Okay, good job, Llama. Good job.
A lot of rebuilding wasn't happening because we were out of components. Luckily, there were some to be mined south of the base. Unluckily, Nico was the miner, and she immediately picked a fight with Llama. The infirmary keeps doubling as our UFC octagon, which is convenient, but it also means the components aren't coming anytime soon. The year 5504 kicked off with a power outage. Apparently, we didn't have enough working brain cells to keep our generators fueled. Not willing to replay a mistake, we started repairing the broken walls. Bold strategy, I know. Actually fixing the walls. Really pushing the meta.
Wait, why are you guys coming over? Or did you just decide you want to live in the trap gauntlet? Okay, you do you. No judgment here. This is judgment-free zone.
Carlos drank the catatonic. The base was finally cleared of corpses, then a boomalope went insane for no reason. Sin went out to deal with it, but I remembered too late that he had a shattered femur and couldn't kite. The boomalope made it into the compound. The one time I didn't overreact. Just as Misku returned from Coma Land, Llama tagged in. Looking at Corpse Lake made me feel better. It's like a spa day, but cheaper. Then we ignored a flash storm and a quest. Miskulini became an insult sprinkler, Nico took an extended nap, Honketon thought it was a good idea and joined her. And that left me with only 2 semi-functional pawns. It was just the best.
It's good that they are knocked out, so they can't really complain about the raw meat.
Whenever traders showed up, we kept lowering our wealth by dumping garbage on them. After buying food, medicine, or defense, we just handed over anything else for that sweet relation bonus. The Great Coma arc lasted only 3 days. Even with this good news, I dared not hope. And it's a good thing I didn't. The very next day, Misku entered a psychotic state.
I guess we enjoyed ourselves for a little too long there.
I forgot to mention this, but our farmers got wormed too. Medicine was running out and we couldn't grow more. Nature could provide, but leaving the base without someone flipping out was a luxury.
Need a research bench. I'm trying!
I wanted medicine not just to stockpile, but to fix Sin's 3D femur puzzle. A grizzly bear had some ideas. It felt good to release some frustrations.
That was fine. That was fire. Speaking of which, there's fire.
April May 10th, after gathering enough medicine and performing the operation, turns out giving Sin a wooden foot did not fix the femur confetti. Go figure.
Gosh darn it, that was certainly a choice among the things that I could have done. No. No way. They will prepare for a while, then attack. And how many is this? Look, it's 10 of them. Schedule. Security.
I planned to rebuild the traps before the next raid. Did that happen? No. The walls weren't even repaired yet. And those are kind of important if you're not actively doing an any-person speedrun into extinction.
This has been way overdue.
No fancy strategies that time, just good old firing line and do your best. Carlos immediately vaulted the fence and went feral on the raiders. They weren't ready for medieval energy in a modern colony.
Yes, I'm so glad Carlos is here. They gave up! Yes, keep shooting. Ooh! Who's the brainiac with the big weapon again? That's Llama. Llama, how about you stop? Please, and thank you.
Carlos chased down the survivors, caught one, and also successfully lost an arm. Trade-offs. Meanwhile, my fire field strategy was working, a little too well. But hey, silver lining. A psychic suit blanketed the colony, a mood buff cheaper than alcohol. Carlos stood back up, immediately tried to chase another guy, and immediately collapsed again. Misku had to drag her back. The fire was working overtime and flattened Nico. And in the most questionable rescue of all time, Misku hauled Carlos straight through the flames, then dropped her the second she caught fire. It's like second-hand Darwinism. I micromanaged like my life depended on it, which it didn't, but they sort of did. And somehow kept everyone alive through the aftermath of my brilliant planning. Naturally, our doctor started treating herself to some snacks instead of treating the patients. April May 10th was a very long day. Our reward for all the pain and surprise amputations. 3 potential recruits. Worth it. Rain came in and did its usual delete fire thing. Infections also showed up, because that's just the immune system's way of flipping you off. I'll only mention them if they subtract someone from the Rim population. Just assume our medical policy is, XP is worth more than prevention. We needed the new recruits badly, so I forced whoever was conscious to feed them. Thanks to Miskulini reading a book, we got the sterile materials research for free. Didn't know that was possible. To keep things running, I had to manually micromanage meals for both patients and prisoners. Big fun. The next set of traders had an EMP launcher, which I bought immediately. I figured it'd be perfect for the inevitable mech raid. Soon after, Honketon threw a tantrum. It was like fate.
Are you breaking the EMP launcher? Yeah, you are. We just bought that. Okay, good job, Honketon.
Just in case anyone forgot, Fibro's Mechanite showed up last December and decided to stick around like that one house guest who just needs a place for the night. By April May 12th, they were still squatting in our bodies rent-free, and they'd be freeloading a while longer. The next day, ChemLab was rebuilt. For the greater mood, I placed my hopes on smoke leaf joints and good old-fashioned denial. Carlos threw a party to boost recreation and social batteries, and we finally fixed the 3rd prison cell. That evening, one prisoner got got some unearned parole thanks to a farming-related accident. I guess Misku thought the prison cell door was in the way of her work. Day 14. Rainer's raiders came knocking.
No way! We just fixed everybody up!
I panicked because thanks to the previous raid, we had more missing limbs than a Lego clearance bin. But this time, it was just 4 people. Pretty disappointing, honestly. Before the fight, I had everyone fix the walls as much as possible through the forced labor of love. Community bonding at gunpoint. Very wholesome. The battle didn't last long. Carlos took a bullet graze and immediately went full anime protagonist mode. The raiders took one look at the one-armed lunatic charging at them screaming bloody murder and said, nope. She charged after the fleeing bandits and stopped one in their tracks, and mugged them for some real medicine. Good deal. One survivor was captured, but she breathed like a horror movie phone call and moved slower than a dial-up internet, so not exactly a keeper. Last day of spring, Misku went to mourn at the graves and got a mood hit from the corpses standing in the lake, another design feature. And I realized something important. The widow tantrum arc was finally over, which meant, naturally, someone got inspired to start the next one.
Marriage, you say? Honketon and Carlos! Heck yeah!
Summer of 5504 kicked off with Nico wandering around in a psychotic state. Good start. And power outages were still a thing. Day 3, we finally cleaned up the corpses. Misku celebrated by going to the graves for another bonus mood debuff. And I forgot to keep track of our quests. But don't worry, I wasn't doing them anyway. Day 5, a prisoner joined us. Melee Int, a 61-year-old brawler/dancer with a great memory. Her resume basically said, we'll stab you, and then remember it for the rest of your life. Shortly after, Minecons Craft joined us too, mining main, with a side of construction and crafting, which was perfect since half our base looked like it had survived a tornado made of termites. Sorry, I meant G-Box 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Welcome back to the colony, dude.
Meanwhile, I realized I couldn't install Carlos's new wooden hand, because her entire arm was MIA. One day, I too will learn anatomy.
Who else was missing stuff?
Miskulini at least got a peg leg, which meant she could now go around begging like a boss. Progress. Then Buildcraft joined. We had 2 builders, finally. Again.
The walls are coming back up. Stuff is getting fixed. This is what we've been waiting for.
Low food notification, nothing new. Our answer? Upcoming grocery shopping. By day 6, Misku was wandering around in confusion because she woke up too early from anesthesia. So, just like a normal Tuesday. I've never seen a charge rifle before. I bought it without a second thought. Impulse buying weapons always works out.
Okay, that was bad. No, what the heck?
I also grabbed a shield belt, which went to Carlos. Hopefully, she'll now get to keep the rest of her limbs. I'm pretty sure this won't work, but I placed a floodlight behind our shooting line, hoping that the light would blind our adversaries. The next day, a mad boar attacked. G-Pro got dinged, but Melee Int turned the hog into discount bacon. The next day, I finally discovered tooltips. Nico threw a party, but Buildcraft didn't attend because he was naked and ashamed. Relatable.
Why don't we have pants? Let's put it up there. Yep. Oh, okay. Yep, I was expecting that. Have fun in your room. Freaking introverts, am I right? Wild boar self-tamed. Lovely.
Which reminded me, it was time to start taming some explosive cows again. The generators were thirsty. I gave the charge rifle to Nico since she was our best shot, and it was time to see that thing in action.
Yeah, kinda cool. Nice, that's so freaking cool. He's going for the berries instead of the food over here, but that's his choice and I respect it. Not again, bro!
Day 9. Infestation time. The bugs didn't even wait. They started immediately nibbling through walls like styrofoam. Unwilling to replay past mistakes, I had everybody armor up, then stacked against the choke point. Our fastest pawn, meaning the one who still had both legs, was tasked to lure the bugs in. Nico, our resident miner, began the operation Catch a Predator by arousing their ire with her charge rifle. The pesky portable-sized mandible menaces managed to get a hit in.
Run! Oh, run, 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 run! Yeah! Are you just gonna turn your back to them? Okay, good. I want the llama over here. Better angle. Oh, they're slowing down. Ooh, look how freaking clean this was. Imagine I did that the last time when Zillarin 3 lost her eye and stuff, and Rusty's nose was smashed as well. Yeah, Things could have been so much better. Freaking look at that!
Careful, I'm learning. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care now. Bye bye then. Have a wonderful day.